Good Friday evening to you. Hope your weekend is off to a good start. Welcome to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Browns getting ready to kick things off Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock at home, First Energy Stadium against the Miami Dolphins, a Dolphins team that's played a little bit better the last few weeks. Browns, on the other hand, can't overlook this game, trying to get their third straight win and climb to 5-6 on the year, one game away from the break-even mark if they can achieve that three-game winning streak. More than anything, though, the Browns need to put the end of that Steelers game with all the mess that went on with that they've had to talk about all week since they've come back. They need to put that behind them and focus on winning a football game against the Miami Dolphins.
I think we have to continue to, carry our message through and through of doing our job. No matter who we're playing, no matter what's going on, we have to go out there with, a great focus to doing our job every single play. And the same thing that, why we've seen a little bit of a turnaround, we have to continue to improve.
What role do you take in making sure the team is focused? Because it feels like something that could linger.
No, we just have to attack each day. That singular focus that I've harped on, it goes throughout, the week of practice, making sure we have guys in there knowing what they're doing so we can play fast and not have hesitation. And I know the defense is going to get it right.
If you guys win, numerically, you'll be in a lot better shape than you were 3 games ago in a playoff race. To what extent are you using a playoff race to motivate you and your teammates?
We know we have to take care of each game at a time. That singular focus that I've been talking about, it's no different now. This is the most important game, and we have to take care of business when we line up against the Dolphins on Sunday.
It looks like you might be getting anher weapon back, David and Joe. How do you look out there?
I think he looked great today. He didn't get, every single rep. They're limiting him. So, we're looking forward to him continuing to improve throughout the week goes and getting him back.
The last 3 weeks have seemed to go a lot better for you than obviously the first half of the season. Jarvis Landry said on Monday he thinks maybe you've turned a little bit of a corner here. What's your take on the last 3 weeks and how you've played, and do you feel like the season's kind of turned around for you?
Obviously, it starts with not turning the ball over. Knock on wood with that, but just taking care of the ball, putting our guys in the best position to win, getting the ball out quicker, extending plays when we have to, but ultimately just doing my job, being a distributor, getting the ball in their hands, letting them make the plays. And so, we're all doing our job better because we're more focused on doing the little details right, and that starts with me, and so we need to continue to improve each week.
The defense has got some guys to replace, but offensively, you're getting all your guys back. You just mentioned David. Do you feel like you guys are starting to hit your stride a little bit offensively, figure some things out?
I think we've improved a little bit each week, but like I said after the game, we still have a lot of room to improve, and I think that's the best part about it is even though we've had success and we've won 2 in a row, none of that matters. We have to improve. We have to do our job each time we get out there.
You talked a lot about feet and eyes this season. How much has that contributed to you playing well the last few games?
It's been pretty key to, my role, distributing the ball and getting the ball out quick and, putting in the right spots. Anytime you can have your feet and your eyes lined up and in tune, it's good for me. So it's getting the ball out, and so it's good for our guys too.
Did you feel that was...
Are you sort of built for the idea of kind of navigating some of the adversity that you have now and that you have had this season? Is that kind of your nature to be able to guide it through this?
I wouldn't say that I'm made for this moment. I think just the things that I've gone through out in my life of what do you do when adversity hits. It's made me a little bit more knowledgeable of things like this. Nothing specifically that I've done is exactly this moment, but I've had experience facing adversity, and a lot of these guys have as well. Somebody in this locker room has always faced adversity at some point in their life. It's just about being that person every day that this team needs in the position I'm in, being a captain and showing the way, setting the standard, like the things I've been talking about. But I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm made for this moment. I think I was made to come here in Cleveland, to try and set the standard and the culture each and every day.
With the way you handled everything after the game Thursday night, a lot of people were complimentary. Did it enter your mind, I need to step up right away for this team, or Is it just a natural leadership thing that clicks inside you without you even thinking about it?
No, I don't think I need to overcompensate. I think I need to be consistently that person. The things that I say, make a good leader. Not trying to do too much. Being myself and trusting that that's more than good enough. Being that guy for our team. And we're going to support Miles. We're going to be here for him, whatever happens, and Larry as well. And so we're going to roll with the punches, whatever happens.
But I kind of keep it, in the front mirror because I want to keep an eye and make sure I don't ever have to go back down that road. And it's behind me, but I still keep it in front of me.
I think that Miles is the best player on the defense, like many people do. Like, what does that mean for the offense? Does it put a little more weight on your guys' shoulders?
I mean, yeah, it does, but we got to just go out there and make plays, score points, and, just take care of business. That's all we got to do. It's going to be definitely tough not having a guy like Miles on our defense.
Looking at the Pittsburgh game, and in the context of what Chuck was just saying in answer to a question, the Pittsburgh's defense was really good, and they played a nice game. And how well did you guys play against that caliber of defense, would you say?
Honestly, it was just, a physical game. We had to match their intensity and be physical right with them. And I feel like we played, we made some mistakes out there and stuff, some to get better at. But for the most part, we came pretty ready to play. The guys were ready to go.
How good is Pittsburgh's defense this year relative to some of the better defenses you've faced in the 3 years?
Definitely, they're good. Good defense. Those guys up front play hard and fly around. Front seven's really great, and they're definitely a hard team, to play defensively.
How much pleasure and pride do you take in making those third down catches that extended the drives the other day?
I'm the type of guy who like to take advantage of every opportunity I get. And I knew if I didn't get a first down on that third down, I wouldn't have another chance to, get another opportunity until they punt the ball. So I kind of take that into, consideration that, I might be 10, 15 yards away, but I still got to, find a way.
Do you feel like the rust is off, or do you still have a little bit of rhythm stuff you're working through?
I mean, to me, football is football. Even if y'all said it's rusty, I take it personal. It's not. It's everything I do. I feel like I should be, ready and a pro at it.
Do you think that the adversity of losing a couple defensive starters and all the noise from the fight and all that, can that bring you guys closer together as a team?
I mean, yeah, I think it definitely can because, we know we're the only people in this locker room who think we have a shot, and a lot of people, closing the book on us already. So we just got to stick together and, go out there and make plays, offensive, defensively. I mean, I feel like we have the depth to do it. I mean, the next guy up, we got to have that mentality.
I mean, he was in the running for, Defensive Player of the Year. He's someone that offenses would have to vocal point. I would assume, they have some sort of plan to either chip him or slide his way, do something to slow him down, get the ball out quicker. So when you're missing a guy like that, it's going to be multiple guys stepping up. I know Chad's been playing a little bit more already. Chris is going to have to come in and do his thing, and then I think we're going to have to bring. We got a couple new guys already, but we're going to have to bring some guys up or something to get some more rotation out there and really be focused on just doing their job. You don't want to do too much when you get put in that position, but just do your job on each play and, see what happens.
Do you think it puts a little more on the shoulders of the offense?
Yeah, you lose a couple defense players. Ovi's been hurt and Miles is out, and you lose Morgan. All those things are starters, big players on defense, and they're going to do their best. I know they're going to fight. They've been playing really well. They helped us get that win last week for sure. But now we're focused. We got to score as many points as we need to win the game, and that's something we're focused on each week, but a little bit more heightened this week.
Joel, you talked about you said that after the game, you talked to everybody about just cooling down and we'll get through this. Do you sense that this team is kind of galvanizing because of this?
Yeah, it takes time. We're still early in the process, but I think the last couple of practices we've had have been good energy, good focus. It's the NFL and stuff happens all the time. Be it an injury, be it a trade. There's tons of things that happen on a week-to-week basis that you have to play the next play, and it's super cliche, but it's the next man up, and we just need to stay focused on ourselves. It's what's the best version of Cleveland that we can put out there, and that's what we're working on this week, and we're trying to go 1-0, and the Dolphins have improved a lot. They, early in the year they struggled a little bit, but They've won 2 out of 3, I think, now. They're taking care of the ball a lot better, and they're doing some good things on defense. I know they play real hard over there, so it'll be a tough test.
Has the
Can you just talk about how Baker's really been coming on strong the last couple of weeks? And even in the last game, he just looks like he's getting some of that moxie back, that swagger, being like the Baker.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. I think we've had a huge emphasis the last few weeks on taking care of the ball and penalties, and I think as an offense we've done a pretty good job of that. But Baker, I think, is coming to his own again. He had some unlucky turnovers, I would say, early in the season, and that kind of carried over a little bit. But he's kind of looking like himself. He made a few plays with his feet that made some throws. Even ran the ball in one time, on the QB sneak. So it's some life, some good things that we're seeing from him. And I know he's extremely focused right now, and he's continued to try to take that next step every week.
Browns a double-digit favorite against the Dolphins. Need to really stay focused on Miami and try to get within one game of 500. Well, time for our Ohio Lottery Stat of the Month. There are over 238 winners on Ohio scratch-offs each and every day. With that amount of winning, stop by your local retailer and try your luck on any of the popular holiday-themed scratch-offs, the Ohio Lottery. We're going to step aside, take a quick time out. On the other side of the break, we'll be joined by cleveland.com columnist Doug Lesmerises. We'll kind of put some analysis and put the Browns-Dolphins matchup coming up Sunday into perspective. More Sports Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. As we mentioned, Browns getting ready to face the Miami Dolphins 1 o'clock over at First Energy Stadium, and the Browns trying to make it 3 in a row. Time to welcome in cleveland.com columnist Doug Lesmerises to talk a little bit more about this matchup between the Browns and Dolphins. Doug, when you look at this, Browns have played better the last 2 games, and this is a team they clearly are better than. Is there a danger in the letdown with all the guys missing on the defensive side? Are you concerned at all?
My wife is back there. Listen, I'm unshowered, I'm unshaven, and I'm sick. This is what happens to normal sports writers during football season. So I apologize for my lack of appearance. Yeah, it does. With a pillow back here, I slept on my couch last night. I'm not a human in football season. Yes. I think this is a little bit of a dangerous game for them. The Dolphins are definitely playing better. We don't know what it's going to look like without Myles Garrett and without Larry Ogunjobi for this game. I think you can easily fall into assumptions about this. The Browns are 4-6, but I feel like people suddenly have hope again. I think there might be people thinking, oh, they're going to rally around all this and come out on fire. The Dolphins have been competent the last couple weeks. Like, this is not we thought they were tanking, but they've shown more life than the Browns did during 1-31. I think Brian Flores, who interviewed here in Cleveland for the head coaching job, former Patriots defensive coordinator, has really got those guys playing hard. Yeah, like I've seen the picks from our cleveland.com staff for this game, and there's some very optimistic people picking this game about potential blowouts. I would be a little worried about that.
And I got to say, you have been the captain of the Browns optimistic train here, at least on More Sports Les Levine. So I agree with you. The unknown is Ryan Fitzpatrick. You just never know what you're going to get with him. And if you get a good version of Ryan Fitzpatrick, it could be a struggle for the Browns.
I want Ryan Fitzpatrick as my quarterback for 16 weeks in the NFL. He's not going to get you. He's not a winning franchise quarterback kind of guy. But he's got week to week in one game, he's got a little something sometimes. So that guy, he might come out and stink and throw 5 picks against the Browns, or he might come out and look like one of the best 10 quarterbacks in the NFL for one Sunday. So they're going to really need to rely on this secondary. The secondary has been hurt for a lot of the year, and it's been this defensive line you got to rely on the defensive line while Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward were out. Freddie Kitchens, again, we've all gone through this. At the beginning of the year, said our strength is the defensive line. Well, Myles Garrett's gone, and Larry Ogunjobi's out for this game. So that's 2 of those 4 guys that you were relying on. Again, I think the Browns will win, but Miami is a real team, and I think the Browns do have they have to figure out what life is going to be like without Myles Garrett, and I don't think it's going to be an instantaneous fix.
Well, when you look at how Baker Mayfield has played the last couple of games, it's been better. I mean, you have to – there's some life there. Have you been impressed that he's taking care of the ball better, I guess is what I'm getting at. Have you been impressed with the last couple of games by Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, and again, so many of those interceptions early in the season were kind of fluky, but he just does look a little more comfortable. I still think it's not the best of Baker, far from. He's done some really good things with comfort in the pocket. He's a little more comfortable, it looks like, maneuvering in the pocket and looking to throw. The downfield ball to Hodge last week, when he rolled right, part of a planned rollout, had some pressure on the edge, stopped, pump faked the guy on the edge, and then stepped up and threw down the field. That looked like a guy much more comfortable with himself, with guys in his face. And that was what was really, I think, the most concerning thing early in the season with Baker, even beyond the picks, because a lot of the picks weren't his fault. It was that he just didn't look comfortable in the pocket. And I think he looks much more comfortable in the pocket. And I thought we might see it last week. I still feel like we haven't seen it. And what I'm talking about is that real consistent connection with Odell Beckham. I still think, there's a 180-yard Odell Beckham game out there where it's not just about a deep ball in the first play of the game or the first series. It's about consistent 15 and 20-yard throws down the field being dangerous all day. I still think that's out there, and we're not there yet.
When you look at Kareem Hunt, I've been impressed. I knew the guy could run the football. I knew he could catch the football. He's complete. I mean, he's blocking. He's doing every little thing you want. And I still think there's a game where they feed him the ball a little bit if the defense is keying on Nick Chubb as well. Just what have you seen from Kareem Hunt first couple games that he's played?
Well, clearly, I mean, this is a guy who statistically was as good as any running back in the NFL. And so I do like the way, I think we have all liked the way that they use the 2 of them together. At times, I don't know that was necessarily the expectation. It's not like a million NFL teams put 2 tailbacks of that caliber on the field together. Everybody loves Nick Chubb, right? But I mean, the idea, I think second half of a game, they're still down the road. I think a tight game late, there's a chance that like Kareem Hunt might get you over the top. And I think we've talked about this before. It's like guys win games. Myles Garrett could win a game for you. Odell Beckham can win a game for you. I think Kareem Hunt could win a game for them. Like, oh boy, it's a drive late. They need to get something. Oh, boom! Here's a screen to Hunt. here's a big hunt run. Again, I think that's still out there for them.
Last thing I'll ask you about the Browns. Is there a danger that they're looking ahead to the Steelers again? I mean, if human nature is they get this one, they get the Steelers, they're back to even, then things are set up pretty nicely. That's the biggest concern is, are you overlooking a team that was really bad early because you're looking ahead to a team you got to catch next week?
I hate the idea of like losing as a good thing, right? So I'm not going to do that. But I do think they probably have to be in a different headspace than they were early this season. When you start 2-6, I think you stop taking things for granted. You're 2-6. So I hope that's not the case, because I was doodling around, on some of these, I think it was on 538, that website, and you can plug different things in. And if you plugged in that website, if you plugged in wins over the Dolphins, Steelers, and Bengals the next 3 weeks that got them to 7-6, according to their formula, the Browns had like a 58% chance of making the playoff. That's how real this can be for them if they win week to week. But if you think the Dolphins stink, we're at home, we've got this, you're going to lose. Because the Dolphins are better than that. The Dolphins are better than their record. I know the Bills beat the Dolphins last week. I think the Dolphins might be, in some ways, a better team than the Bills, even though the Bills have like a 5-game better record. So be on it. But if you do get caught up looking to that revenge game for the Steelers, they'll lose Sunday.
All right, Doug Lesmerises, we're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. When we return, we'll talk some Buckeyes. But before we go, got to let you know about Northeast Factory Direct. Northeast Factory Direct. No gimmicks, no deceiving blowout sales or any of that typical retail nonsense. Just 3 huge bare-bones warehouses filled with some of the same stuff that a number of stores have, but one big difference. At Northeast Factory Direct, items are about half regular retail price. 3 locations, West 140th in Cleveland, in the old B&B Appliance on Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, Freeway Drive in Macedonia. Check out everything on northeastfactorydirect.com. We're going to step aside, take a quick time out. On the other side of the break, Doug Lesmerises rejoins us. We're going to talk Buckeyes, getting ready for the Nittany Lions. More Sports Les Levine, Weekend Winners Edition. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of November and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
National Holidays expert Mary here with a list of holidays you won't want to miss. Get your Ohio Lottery Merry Million scratch-offs for National Donut Day, National Have a Party with Your Bear Day, Pickle Day, National Unique Talent Day, Take a Hike Day, and America's favorite, National Jukebox Day. Every day is a reason to celebrate. Grab a Merry Millions and other Ohio Lottery holiday scratch-offs today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Time to shift gears, talk a little football, college football. Ohio State football, in fact, as the Buckeyes held on to the number 2 spot in the college football playoff rankings behind LSU this week. Let's welcome back in Doug Lesmerises, columnist for cleveland.com, has covered the Buckeyes for more years than I can remember. Doug, Penn State, first big-time challenge. Ohio State still favored by, I believe it's 18.5, but this is a team that can cause some problems for Ohio State.
Yeah, I was going to shower during the break, by the way. But I decided not. I did a story this week on cleveland.com. I mean, it's Ohio State still has a talent gap on Penn State, but it's the first team on the schedule that's closed. And this is not new. It's just that the only 2 teams in the Big Ten that come close to recruiting on Ohio State's level are Michigan and Penn State, and those are the last 2 teams on the schedule. Ohio State did not have a major non-conference foe this year like they usually do. A Texas or a USC or a Virginia Tech or Miami, all the teams, Oklahoma, that we've seen them play over the years. They get Oregon starting next year for 2 years. So Ohio State's off. They might be the best Ohio State team that I have covered in my many, many, many years, as you pointed out. So, they're really good. But also, they've had such a talent edge on everybody they've played. Wisconsin was a highly ranked team when they played them. Wisconsin, I think, had 9 4-star recruits over a 4-year period when Ohio State had 72 in building this roster. That's in the research I did for this story. Penn State's in the 50s. So in the 50s is a lot less than 72 top-end recruits, but it's a heck of a lot more than 9. So that's what we're talking about. Penn State's the first team they've played this year that will have multiple guys who start for Penn State who could start for Ohio State and who were recruited by Ohio State.
Chase Young back. How big of an advantage is that? How anxious do you think he is to get back on the field and kind of assert that, hey, I'm back, guys?
Well, I asked Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, about that this week, what they had seen offenses do while Chase Young was out the past 2 weeks. He pointed out that Ohio State did have a bunch of sacks the last couple games against overmatched Maryland and Rutgers team. But he said they saw that Maryland and Rutgers felt like they didn't have to keep tight end in to help to block on the edge. They didn't keep a running back in. They didn't double team the ends as much. They left tackles on an island. If you leave a tackle on an island against Chase Young, your tackle will be ripped in half and his dead body will be used to sack the quarterback. I mean, that's what Chase Young does to tackles one-on-one. It changes everything. Again, the Browns are facing this to an extent now, losing Myles Garrett. Just the presence of a guy like that on the field changes everything. So it's a big deal for Ohio State to have him back. And Chase Young, when we last saw him, was a Heisman candidate. I don't think he's that anymore. We've talked about that now. He's a half sack away from tying the single-season school sack record. I think he'll break that record against Penn State on Saturday. But when he's back, everything changes. He's been practicing. He's not hurt. He won't be rusty. He'll just be ready to sack people.
You know, you could have sold it to me that you were watching tape on the Browns in Ohio State, and that's the reason you look like you've been up all night. I'd have bought that, and I think the viewers would have bought it. With that as the backdrop, go ahead.
That was a great idea. That's it. I forgot. I'm so delirious. I forgot that I was working very hard at my job all night.
Let me ask you this. Is there any chance of a letdown? I mean, we talked about it with the Browns. Is there any chance that Ohio State's looking beyond Penn State because you've got Michigan coming up? Or, you know, this team, that hasn't been their MO at all season. Are you concerned about that at all with the Buckeyes?
It's an interesting point because the schedule is so tilted, right? That these 2 games are the last 2 games of the regular season. I think this game will be close. My colleagues at cleveland.com think it's going to be a blowout. As you mentioned, it's an 18.5-point spread. I think Penn State, Michigan back-to-back is difficult. Now, is it more difficult because maybe with Michigan looming, you sort of look around Penn State? I don't think they'll do that. Is it difficult because you're going to play a tough game against Penn State? You'll get beat up a little bit. Now you have to rebound and go on the road to Michigan. Maybe it's that. It's just hard. It's their 2 hardest games back-to-back at the end of the year. It would be much easier if Rutgers or Maryland was in between Penn State and Michigan. So I mean, Penn State has played them much tougher than Michigan has played them. So it's 2 one-point games the last 2 years, and in 2016, Penn State blocked a field goal and beat Ohio State by 3. In 2014, the national championship year for Ohio State, it was double overtime at Penn State. That's how tough James Franklin's guys have played Ohio State. So, I mean, I think there's zero chance of overlooking them. I just think there's a strong chance of Penn State giving Ohio State like everything the Buckeyes can handle at a level that they haven't been tested this year. And then, by the way, a Michigan team that is on an upswing is waiting for you next week. That's hard.
What has impressed you about this group as they prepare week to week? I mean, from the outside looking at them, they seem pretty focused, and it doesn't seem like they've – I mean, it's been very methodical in week to week. What has it been like following them, covering them each game?
No, they're very in control. They're filled with 5-star guys, but they just have a lot of guys who have really sort of grown into it this year. Jeff Okudah as a third-year corner is just a man, is just a confident, just on point, smart, together. He's just got it all. He's a supremely talented, gifted corner who might go in the top 10, but he just is a guy who gets it. He's been through it enough. He's played a lot. He gets it. Malik Harrison at linebacker is the same way. J.K. Dobbins at running back is the same way. You just see it's these 2017 guys in their third year in the program, having gone through tough, unexpected losses in 17 and 18. They know exactly what they want. They haven't been to the playoff. A lot of these guys are going to go pro after this year. If they don't get to the playoff now, they're not going to experience it as college football players. And they're just very motivated, and they have a seriousness of purpose about what they're trying to do that they just do show, I think, during the week, every week, but especially on Saturday.
Last thing I'll ask you, you mentioned that mindset. What's that say about Ryan Day, a first-year head coach, in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, again, he inherited a great situation, which makes it a lot easier. He inherited a lot of talent, which makes it a lot easier. But he has been in complete control. Tough love is the word that he uses a lot with these guys. They have their attention, I think, right? This new coaching staff, especially on the defensive side of the ball, 4 new defensive coaches. They've connected very quickly with these guys with the defense that needed a revamp. They've built those connections, and they've gotten those players to believe in those connections. And again, Ryan Day, the offense knew Ryan Day. The defense didn't know Ryan Day. He's built those connections. They all feel very connected when often with a new coach and a new staff, sometimes there is some of that you're 2 ships passing in the night a little bit. And this does feel like you wouldn't necessarily say it feels like a team that has a new head coach and 5 new assistants. It feels like a team that's been together for longer than that.
Doug Lesmerises, as always, great insight on both the Buckeyes and the Browns. You can read him in the pages of the Plain Dealer as well as on cleveland.com. Want to tell you our stat of the month for the Ohio Lottery. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll tell you about the stat of the month for the lottery, but we'll tell you about Tri-C now. Explore your interest and find a program that puts you on the path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu, tri-c.edu for more. And we're going to step aside, take a quick time out. On the other side of the break, the D-Man joins me in studio, trying to catch him with our picks against the spread. More Sports Les Levine. The Weekend Winners Edition will be right back. Stay with us.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition, joined by the D-Man, Dennis Manoloff. That means it's our pigskin pick'em time. After a bye week, we're rested up. I went 3-1, you went 2-2. I'm closing, but in reality, you still do have the lead. You see, I'm under 500. I'm like the Browns, still a little bit of a playoff hope, but I got to get things rolling. Want to remind you, legalized sports wagering. Just a little bit over an hour away from downtown Cleveland, Presque Isle Downs and Casino, Erie, Pennsylvania, right off of I-90, 50 state-of-the-art Bet America sports kiosks. It's touchscreen, it's easy, and again, it's just a little over an hour away from downtown Cleveland, Presque Isle Downs and Casino in Erie, Pennsylvania. So, D-Man, we begin with the Browns, and the Browns at home. 10.5-point favorites over the Miami Dolphins. Played pretty well, all things considered. Thursday night, kind of overshadowed by all that nonsense. But who are you picking? Who do you like in this one?
Imagine that, Dave, a 4-6 team that's 10.5-point favorites. I'm going with the Browns. Yes, I'm drinking Kool-Aid, the orange and brown Kool-Aid to a degree. 10.5 is a big number, regardless. Especially so for a team that's 4-6 and has had so many issues. But the Dolphins are the opponent. The Dolphins just got done giving up 30-something to the Bills at home. I know the Browns are going to be depleted defensively, both by injury and suspension. But I'm looking at the quintet of Beckham, Landry, Mayfield, Chubb, and Hunt as being enough to put up somewhere in the 30s, maybe even 40 points against that porous Dolphins defense, and that's why I'm okay laying the 10.5.
I'm not necessarily arguing with anything you said, but I'm looking at this as the Browns aren't really talented enough to have their attention divided and giving that big number. I'm going to go with the Dolphins getting 10.5, mostly because this is a game the Browns should win by a lot, and I don't know that they're at the point where they need to be, where they cover a big number in a game they should win and should, handily do it. The defensive side of things scares me, as does Fitzpatrick. You just never know. I foresee a couple of big plays. They're banged up all over the place defensively, and I think it's probably a reasonably high-scoring game, and I just don't think the Browns – I don't think they cover the 10.5. So you and I disagree there. Last couple weeks when we've done that, it hadn't gone well for me, but I'm sticking with the Dolphins getting the 10.5.
I can certainly see you winning this one. I'm not necessarily comfortable with the Cleveland Browns in their current state laying 10.5 to anybody.
Another game that we're going to both pick is the Cowboys, 6.5-point underdogs. They are on the road against the New England Patriots. So the Patriots, 6.5-point favorites at home in Foxborough against the Cowboys. Who do you like in this one?
I like the Patriots convincingly in this, not just to cover, but to cover with style points. They're playing really good defense. That's well documented. But I thought a very important situation occurred coming out of this past week where Tom Brady said the offense isn't where it needs to be. And that typically when there's any sort of question about the Patriots or any sort of doubting about the Patriots, even from within their building, they come out the next game and they show the doubters, hey, look, we really are good. So I think maybe Brady was motivating himself and his offense to play better. I think they come out and play well and support that already really good defense. And Dallas, to me, especially when they go on the road, somewhat of a poser. So I've got the Patriots minus the points.
I'm going to stay with that one. I'm going to flip, and I'm going to take the Cowboys plus 6.5 at the Patriots. Thought behind this is the Patriots struggle in the run game. We saw that not only with the Ravens, but with Nick Chubb. The Browns kind of ran wild. He doesn't fumble on that long run. Who knows how that game turns out? The Ravens ran all over him. I expect Ezekiel Elliott to have a big game, a really big game with the Cowboys' offensive line. I think the Patriots win, but I think it's pretty close. I think it's 2-3 points. So I'm going against you again and again. Hasn't worked out very often for me, but I'm taking Cowboys 6.5 in New England. Another one you like is you like the Eagles. So tell me a little bit about your thought with the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles have been up and down this season, while their opponent, the Seahawks, have been really, really good. And the Seahawks, we know, with Russell Wilson, travel well. However, this to me is a case of one team, the Seahawks, wanting to win, the other team, the Eagles, desperately needing to win. The Eagles at 5-5. In my opinion, they have to save their season on Sunday against the Seahawks. They're at home. The number is essentially a pick 'em. So I'm going to go with the desperate team over the team that I don't say the Seahawks would say they could afford to lose, but the desperate team is the home team that has some talent, that has underachieved to 5-5. So I'm looking for the Eagles to rise up, and even if it's a field goal, I'm still a winner.
And the last one that we'll look at, the Titans. You like the Titans? Tell me the thought behind that.
Yeah, the Titans is always a dangerous play. They're crazy up and down. It looks like they're headed to yet another 9-7 because they're sitting 5-5. It's like Mike Vrabel's 9-7 crew. Somehow, some way, they find a way to get there. Famously started the season by blowing out the Browns, but then they've been all over the map since. The Jaguars, they got Foles back. They didn't look good last week against Indy. The Titans are kind of an ornery bunch. Even when they're not playing well, their defense is decent. So I like them at home in this case, as long as the spread is not more than 3. And in this case, it isn't. Because anything over 3 with the Titans, you have no idea what they're going to do. But at least with 3, I can feel like I'm going to win on a field goal.
Well, Jeff Fisher was famously 9-7 there. Now it's Mike Vrabel.
That franchise
doesn't seem like whoever. 9-7. Yeah, you know what? Here in Cleveland, we'd take 9-7 for a couple of years based on what we've been through. I like the Raiders, minus 2.5 at the Jets. Raiders have played pretty well in the early going. Carr's been really good. Josh Jacobs, running back, is good. And the Jets just aren't very good. Sam Darnold is really up and down. I like the Raiders minus 2.5 at the Jets. And then the other one that I like is I like the San Francisco 49ers, who, if you've listened to me, I was down on them early. I've been convinced. I've been won over by Kyle Shanahan's group. I like them minus 3 against the Packers. Packers have to go out west to play the 49ers. Traveling out there, never a good thing. So I like the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo started to play pretty well. And I like Kyle Shanahan's offense there. So I'm going to go with the 49ers minus 3 hosting the Packers.
When I saw your picks pre-show, I was wishing I could swap out the Titans for that Niners pick, because I love the Niners in that spot. The previous time the Packers went out west, they were trucked by the hideous Phil Rivers and the Chargers. So I could see the Niners winning that game convincingly, actually.
Well, we'll see how we do. I still have a couple games to go to try to catch the D-man as he's out to a lead. I'm slightly under 500, but I'll get him before the end of the year.
It's a showdown week because we're opposed on all
two
four.
of them, yeah. And we had 2 head-to-head, which last time that's how you opened up the lead. You beat me 2 head-to-head, and now I'm trying to recover. Well, we're going to step aside. Want to remind you that legalized sports wagering a little bit over an hour away from downtown Cleveland. Presque Isle, Downs and Casino, right off of I-90 in Erie, Pennsylvania. 50 state-of-the-art Bet America sports kiosks. Bet America is the sports book out there. 50 touchscreen kiosks throughout the casino there at Presque Isle. It's easy and, again, just a little over an hour away. D-Man, as always, I enjoyed it. I'm coming after you. I'm going to get you. You can see all of D-Man's picks in the pages of The Plain Dealer or on cleveland.com. Picks all of them against the spread each and every week. We will see you again next week here on More Sports Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. Remember, Les back in the chair on Monday. As we get ready for Thanksgiving. D-Man will be here Monday as well. Have a great weekend, everybody. Browns and the Dolphins, 1 o'clock at First Energy Stadium. I'm sure they'll talk about it plenty on Monday right here on More Sports and Les Levine. Have a great weekend.